my channel. So Sephora is currently having a sale on several of their items, and so I went to a Sephora this past weekend and picked up a few perfumes, and I may have discovered a new favorite. I'm sure as you've read the title, I'm talking about Nest's Vanilla Bourbon. While I was at Sephora, I also picked up the Valentino Born in Roma Green Stravaganza, which, fun fact, I actually really cannot stand the original, but this one really grew on me. I feel like it's another case of like Black Opium where like the original is literally like migraine inducing for me, but then there's like a flanker of it that really resonates with me. Except low-key, I'm not really sure about this purchase. I feel like I enjoyed it in the store more than I do now that I own it, but if you want a separate video on that, let me know. So yeah, I actually saw that Sephora was having a sale on many of Nest's perfumes, and so hey guys, so I'm currently editing the video, but the original plan was for the video to go up when Sephora was still having their sale so that you guys could get the fragrance for cheaper. My dumbass remembered the sale lasting until the 13th of July, which clearly is wrong because I checked on their website and Sephora is no longer having their sale, which is actually such a bummer. I'm sorry for being the absolute worst, but I will go ahead and put the cheapest that I can find the fragrance in the description in case you're interested. Again, I'm really sorry. Okay, bye. I am not very familiar with the brand. I haven't tried and I don't own any of their fragrances, and so I was really looking forward to trying this in store, and lo and behold, I actually really loved it. Like, this is just like the kind of perfume that like upon first sniff, I instantly am like, whoa, like that smells very good. Like, it's not a perfume where I really feel like I have to give time to grow on me. This is something where right off the bat, I recognize that it just smells really nice. Anyways, let's just get right into this review. So I've only really owned this perfume for a couple days, but I've been testing it pretty much like the entire time that I've had it, and also just because I love wearing the fragrance. This perfume reminds me of two other perfumes, which are namely Kayali's Vanilla 28, as well as Fresh Cream Warm Cashmere by Philosophy. But dare I say, and this is definitely gonna be like an unpopular opinion, I feel like no one is gonna agree with me on this, which I honestly understand, but I think that Vanilla Bourbon is a better version of Vanilla 28. I feel like most people aren't gonna agree with that because Vanilla 28 is such like a cult classic, like it's such a favorite, people love it. It's just a very iconic vanilla fragrance, I feel like. And I totally see why, like it is a fragrance that I like very much. I think it's a very well done vanilla, but it's never been like my absolute favorite. Like, it's very much giving just like vanilla extract. And as you can see by the dent, I haven't really used it a ton. But when you really think about like the notes and just like the composition of the scent of the two perfumes, like there are a lot of like overlapping facets. Like, they're both obviously vanilla centered perfumes. They both have brown sugar as well as like either a rum or just like a boozy kind of accord to the fragrance. So these are very similar perfumes when you really think about it. But in my opinion, one is better than the other, and the better one is Vanilla Bourbon. And let me explain why. So I guess we'll start off with how it smells. It is really hot and stuffy in my room right now, so I don't want to like suffocate. This is such a beautiful fragrance, and on the test strip it actually smells really floral. So this has a note of night blooming jasmine, and it's really coming through on the test strip. This fragrance has such a delicious like nectarous quality to it, and if you know me, I love the smell of nectar, just like something very sweet and juicy but not heavy in the way of like a syrup. Like, it really smells like a fruit or flower nectar of some sort. The notes are gonna be vanilla bourbon, brown sugar, musk, and night blooming jasmine. But there is an additional note kind of like listed on the back of the box. So it says that this warm gourmand fragrance envelops you with the aroma of vanilla bourbon absolute, accented by a sophisticated blend of orange bitters and rich brown sugar, enhanced with hints of night blooming jasmine and soft musk. And I think that that really sums it up. I don't think orange bitters is listed as an official note, but I definitely am smelling where it's coming from. I think for many, the word bitter can be kind of off-putting. I don't think that this is a bitter fragrance, but it does have the complex richness of like an orange, but it's not at all in like a citrus rind kind of way. Rather, it's, again, as I was mentioning earlier, a very nectarous, just like juicy, beautifully sweet quality. This is a fragrance. It smells almost kind of familiar, but I know that I've never smelled something like this before, and I think that's what really drew me to this fragrance. I don't think citrus is listed as one of the main accords, but I if I were to personally tweak that, I would add citrus somewhere in there. Again, it's not a very lemony or particularly clean smelling citrus. It's very much like the nectar of a citrus flower. And so this perfume to me, I would say the combination of that orange nectar combined with the night blooming jasmine, this to me really smells like honeysuckle to me. Like a honeysuckle nectar, which is one of the most beautiful scents. Like honestly, like I absolutely adore the smell of honeysuckle. I used to have a honeysuckle plant outside my childhood home, and I would love just like walking past the flowers and like burying my nose in them because they smelled so incredible. And that's what this kind of smells like to me. And so once you kind of get past the amazing juicy white floral opening, you really get just this beautiful vanilla. And what I love about this fragrance is that it has a pretty prominent bourbon note. There's definitely something about it that is like rummy, like you can tell that it's based on some sort of alcoholic drink. But I really struggle with rum, bourbon, cognac, really any sort of alcoholic drink as notes in perfumes. I think that there's a very thin line between a well done alcohol note versus it's straight up smelling like alcohol because the perfume is not blended. And as we all know, like perfume is primarily composed of alcohol. And so I feel like when a perfume is not well made or not well blended, it'll just really reek of alcohol because that's what it is. And obviously that is not a good example of an alcohol drink note done right. This perfume, however, it just really nails it. Like it's such a good balance of sweet and also like ever so slightly just bitter and complex and unique. It's so beautifully done in a very intentional and controlled way. It's enough where it really gives the perfume a complexity and depth while not taking away from the sweetness, not making it headache-inducing or unbearable or obnoxiously bitter in the slightest. Blended so well, and I don't know, I think that the booziness in this fragrance is just done better than is done in Vanilla 28. I think that this one, it's very ambery. It definitely has a woodiness in the base as well as a patchouli, and overall, this just smells like a pretty warm, spicy, boozy fragrance. And it's nice. Like there's a reason why Vanilla 28 is so well loved. However, I think that in Vanilla Bourbon, it's just sweeter. It's so smooth and delicately blended, and to me and my nose, it's just more pleasant to smell. Another thing that kind of surprises me about the fragrance is that it doesn't have like a top middle base note structure as most eau de parfums do. It really was just like the 4 notes that I listed that are on Fragrantica, which I again honestly wouldn't really agree with because this to me is a very complex fragrance. I just feel like this is the kind of scent that you would never find from like a drugstore beauty product or like a body mist from Bath and Body Works. Like it just smells really elevated and expensive, and yeah, there is something about this fragrance that is just so alluring, and I am really obsessed with it right now. Okay, so let's get into the actual rating portion. So starting off with presentation. I would say when I just saw pictures of the bottle, I wasn't super impressed. I honestly didn't really think anything of it, but having the bottle in person, I think has definitely improved my perception of it. I think that it is a very beautiful bottle. I like that the image is kind of like through the glass, and it's like, it comes from a sticker on the back. I would say overall presentation is just very nice. It has a nice matte cap. It is plastic, but it feels nicer than just like straight up like a piece of cheap plastic. The atomizer is also really beautiful, especially, I mean, for such a, okay, I wouldn't say affordable, but for like a mid-range price perfume, this has a much better atomizer than so many like designer, more expensive perfumes that I've tried. So overall, I just really like it. I would say my only gripe with it is that the print that's placed on the back of the bottle, it's like a sticker. I very much feel like I could like peel this off really easily. In fact, like the bottom of it is already kind of starting to peel. I don't know if you can see it, which isn't like a huge issue. The box as well is also quite nice. And yeah, I like what they did with the presentation. Moving on to the scent. So we we've definitely established that I am kind of obsessed with this fragrance. Like, I really, really, really like it. I feel like this is a perfume that has a wow factor to it. Like, it's something that people will walk past and be like, oh my god, like it smells really good. Like, it just has that like really sweet perfumey quality, maybe the same kind that you would find in like The Only One Intense or Libre Parfum, albeit not as strong. It's definitely not as heavily perfumey, just very delicate. Like, this is just such a well done fragrance that just smells so good to me. I think that the sweetness of it almost is reminiscent of Fresh Cream Warm Cashmere, which is a super, super gourmand fragrance in my opinion. Just a very warm, yummy, kind of cupcakey vanilla. But vanilla bourbon doesn't have the powderiness or sandalwood aspects of this fragrance. While it does have a very yummy vanilla, it takes a much more syrupy floral approach. Not a floral that is like your typical designer white floral that you see in literally every fragrance, including this one that I also bought on the same day. It really is just a super smooth and inoffensive floral that really complements the vanilla that makes up most of the fragrance. I love it. I feel like this is the epitome of a perfume that I just really enjoy. It's something that is super sweet and yummy, but there's something in it that keeps it from being full gourmand. Like, it has a perfuminess that really elevates the perfume and makes it wear so nicely. I think it could also be attributed to the musk in the fragrance. I think that musk really helps to elevate a fragrance and keep it from smelling straight up like food. And finally, let's talk about performance. I think that the performance of this fragrance is pretty good. It's moderate in terms of projection and longevity. I would say I get about 5 to 6 hours of wear. I definitely think that this fragrance projects a decent amount though. Like, at least today I was wearing it during work and I could really just catch whiffs of it around me for the first like 2 hours of my shift. Like, I could smell it pretty prominently on my skin and my clothes, and overall it just like projected well. It wasn't super obnoxious, not super loud. I was reading up on Fragrantica and a good portion of people think that the fragrance is quite fleeting, so I think it might differ for different people. I don't think that this is a super like all day or eternal kind of fragrance. You might need to reapply it, but I don't think that the performance is bad by any means. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up my review of the fragrance. I really think that it is such a well done perfume. I would say if you have similar perfume taste to me and you like a really nice, sweet, nectary, vanilla fragrance that isn't too polarizing in any sort of way, you would really like this fragrance. I feel like this perfume fits my personal perfume taste so well. So if you also kind of share those tastes with me, then I think that you would really like this fragrance. I did smell quite a few of the other Nest fragrances and none of them really blew me away the way that this one did. So yeah, I think this particular fragrance they really killed it with, and definitely let me know your thoughts if you have smelled this fragrance or if you own it. I hope that you are doing well. Thank you as always for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. I don't think I said that in my intro, which I usually do, but I forgot.
Anyways,
I love you, take care of yourselves, and I will see you very soon.